focus of the attention is critical. Just like the rays of the sun, they normally do not burn. You might get a sunburn, but to light a fire, it has to pass through a lens, a magnifying lens. And when it passes through that lens and is focused on something, it will light a fire on the other side. And similarly, our attention is like the rays of the sun. And when it's focused, it can light a fire, the fire of inspiration, the fire of genius, the fire of creativity, the fire of imagination, the fire of getting things done. It's very interesting that I thought maybe I'd just do a little research online before beginning today's meditation circle. And so I just looked up a scholarly article. And I'm not going to bore you with all of the technical jargon, but it was a study of 50 meditators and 10 controls to see if the span of attention increased through practice of meditation. Now, this particular meditation wasn't to develop spiritually. This was just to have mental focus and inner peace and things like that. But what it says here, a meditation, a form of mental training that has been shown to increase mental focus and reduce stress, has become an increasingly used tool in both the medical and clinical psychology arenas. It is considered a family of techniques which have in common a conscious attempt to focus attention by observing the breath and avoiding everyday thoughts. A large number of studies have investigated the effects of meditation on physiologic change and/or its contribution to the reduction of medical or psychological symptoms. For example, experimental work has shown meditation to be effective in the treatment of hypertension, high blood pressure, insomnia, clinical anxiety, psoriasis, and the improvement of immune function. So whether a person practices meditation for health reasons, for mental reasons, to get ahead in life, to be a better executive, or to be a better anything, or if it's used for spiritual development, meditation is key. It's critical. So meditation for beginners is usually a process where one will sit for a few minutes every day just to calm down and, lower your blood pressure and, kind of be at peace with yourself before you go and tackle the world, enter the battlefield, as it were, the battlefield of life. For me, meditation has been much more than just reducing stress and anxiety. For me, it's been a process of connecting with the divine. And I think that is probably the most important aspect of meditation, is to develop our character, to develop our perception of existence, and to solve some of the critical questions that besiege all of us at some point or other in our lifespan. Whether it's the question of death, how do we overcome death? How do we deal with death? How do we overcome fear? How do we become more conscious, loving individuals? How can we better relate to the natural world? It is said that the macrocosm is in the microcosm. The great is in the small. Macro means great, micro, small. And how can the great exist within the tiny, the small? Poets from even the 15th and 16th century have talked about observing a universe in a flower or a universe in a dewdrop. And how is that possible? Because if we examine consciousness and we go deep into the subject through experimental techniques of meditation, we will begin to open secrets of the universe that hitherto had been concealed from our eyes and from our consciousness. There's a saying, seeing is above all. My teacher, Sant Kripal Singh, said, feelings, emotions, and inferences are all subject to error. Seeing is above all. So it's not a matter of just feeling things. It's not a matter of analyzing things intellectually. It really comes down, it boils down to experience. To experience the inner way, to experience the transcendental states that come about through the practice of meditation. Transcendental means it transcends the limitations of physical matter and mental matter. And the only thing that can satisfy us is actually that experience. Reading about it, talking about it, hearing about it does not give us that experience. It is only the practice. So a beginner meditator, as I said before, may only meditate for a few minutes, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day. And that's a very good first step. It's a very important first step. But as you get deeper and deeper into it, you might want to extend the period of meditation. But is meditation enjoyable? Is it something that you get some good out of it? Is it something that enriches your own understanding of life, the universe, yourself, and others? That comes about as we go deeper and deeper. So more advanced practitioners of meditation would spend more time doing it. But whether you're a beginner or an intermediate or an advanced practitioner on the path of meditation, God bless you. All I can say is that is a wonderful first step. Keep going deeper and deeper. Explore your own questions, your own questions about existence, your own questions about your own purpose in life. What is the real purpose of our existence? Is it just to be here for a few years, a few decades, to get old, get diseased, kick off, and then start the whole cycle again? You know, there's this theory, but I think it's much more than a theory of reincarnation, that we have lived many lives, many lifetimes before. And after this life, we do not die. There's a soul within us, the consciousness within us is something that is eternal, is immortal. It never dies. It's unborn. It cannot be burnt. It cannot be destroyed. Age cannot affect it. Rust cannot attack it. It's something that is an element, a drop from the ocean of all consciousness. That's who and what we truly are. But to hear it doesn't mean anything. To speak it doesn't mean anything. It's only when we experience it that we can know it and that we can dive deep into it and immerse ourselves in it. So that's what our little meditation circle is about. It's here to introduce you to certain aspects of meditation. There are many different types of meditation, but the meditation that I've been practicing for the past almost 60 years has been the yoga or the meditation of attention, of focusing the attention and connecting with our own inner light. It's been around, this technique has been around for thousands of years, perhaps as long as there has been humans questing for self-knowledge and God knowledge. However you want to define God, however you want to define the Creator. Some don't believe that there is anything beyond this life. And that's only because they haven't experienced it. Meditators who go deep and peel away the layers, they might start off as agnostic, they might start off as atheistic, but as they go deeper and deeper, they realize that there is a divine intelligence that spreads throughout the whole universe, and it's within each one of us. It's consciousness. When they first analyzed the atom, they found it's made up of different constituents. It's made of protons and neutrons, and there's a nucleus at the core of every atom. And the atom cannot be seen with the physical eyes, but through powerful microscopes, it can be perceived. And around the core of each atom, there are these spinning elements called neutrons and protons, and they are spinning around the atom. And as they spin, they give off light and they give off a vibration. They give off light and sound. It cannot be registered with our physical ears or our physical eyes, of course, but the most delicate scientific instruments can measure it. But that's just an outer example of the core of our own being, that it is composed of something much greater than just a little atom. Do you mind closing the door? Thanks. Garden equipment going on in the next door neighbors, so I'm just closing the door to block out that noise. So the nature of consciousness manifests in the form of light and vibration or sound. And it has been referred to in all the great scriptures of the world by the great mystics who have come from time to time. But the followers, unfortunately, with the passage of time, have forgotten that original message. What does it say in the Bible? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and without the Word was not anything made that was made. And that Word is that creative power that brought about everything that we can see in this physical universe. And everything that's unseen, that's in the inner universes as well. So beyond this physical world, which we can perceive through our five senses of sight, audition, taste, touch, and smell, beyond these five senses and beyond the five elements of this material world is this creative power, this creative force, which is immanent in everything. But beyond this physical universe, which is endless, I mean, there are galaxies and galaxies and billions of stars, and nobody knows the end of it. But what created all this thing? Why aren't all these planets and stars and universes, why aren't they colliding and crashing? It's all controlled by some controlling power. So that controlling power is also the same thing that brings us into our physical life and also withdraws us when it's time for us to go back to our origin when we die. So through meditation, we can learn the process of learning to die while alive and overcome the fear of death and explore the unknown. That sometimes scares people. Said, I don't want to know the unknown. I mean, that kind of scary stuff, isn't it? Not really, because it's something that we all have faced in the past and will face it again in the future. So meditation is this process where we learn to withdraw our attention from the extremities of the body and focus it at the seat of the soul. What is the seat of the soul? The seat of the soul is a hidden aperture that lies between and behind the two eyebrows. It is not a physical organ, the third eye. It is parallel and concurrent with our physical body. In the yoga system, they speak of chakras in the body or ganglionic nerve centers, which are located at the rectum, the generative organ, the navel, the heart, the throat, and between and behind the two eyes. So these are kind of what you call psychic centers within the body. Many yogic practices deal with focusing the attention on these lower chakras, but the higher paths of the yogis, so the true yogis, is that point that lies between and behind the two eyes. That's also the reason why you see the Buddha always with a kind of a dot between the eyes. Of course, Indian women often wear a dot, but it's a cosmetic thing. But originally, way back, there was a purpose behind these marks between and behind the two eyes, because that's the point where the soul came into the body at the time of our birth. That's the point where the soul leaves the body at the time of death. Now, it's not a physical aperture. It is something that's within. Because if you ever see a person dying, and I've been beside many people in my lifetime who have passed away and been there at their bedside, and what happens is that the spirit currents or the sensory currents withdraw first from the extremities of the body, from the feet, the hands, and that works up the legs and the arms. And then when it reaches the eye center here, the eyes upturn and the soul leaves the body. And then, usually people close their eyes, right, at the time of death. So in meditation, it's not that dissimilar. In meditation, we learn to sit still. And then we learn to withdraw our attention from the extremities of the body. Now, on this particular path of meditation, we don't focus on the breath, because the breath, if you focus on the breath, it keeps you confined to the body. We want to transcend body consciousness. We want to go into regions of pure consciousness. And that only can be done when we forget about the body. So we can forget about the body, and we forget about our outer environment. And we focus our attention in meditation at this point that's between and behind the two eyebrows. To do that, we do not put any attention on the skin or the bone of the head. We do not put any attention or stress on the eyes, because if you do that, you might get a headache. We just focus our attention in front of us with our eyes closed. So I would like to ask you to please close your eyes. And join me in this experiment of consciousness. And let's see where it leads you. Nobody's asking you to swallow any pills or join any cult or anything. We're just asking you to join this experiment. Your body should be absolutely calm, still. And once you adopt any pose, don't change your position. Just sit there fully relaxed, without any tension whatsoever. No tension in the eyes, no tension in the forehead, no wiggling the toes or the hands or anything. No, just let your breathing go on naturally. Just let it go on. So while our eyes are closed, it's going to be awfully boring if we just sit there and there's nothing to do. But in this practice, we just focus our attention into the middle of whatever we see lying directly in front of us. We don't try to cross our eyes to find the third eye. No, we just look in front. What is it that sees the darkness inside? It's not the physical eyeballs. Well, sure, some light may come through your eyelids, and you might see some, dim impressions of the outside world, very dim. But that's not the light. That's not what we're looking for. But as we go deeper and deeper, even in a pitch dark room, we focus our attention into the center of whatever we see in front of us. But the mind will start generating thoughts, and it'll make us think of the past or the future, of what we might have to do, what tasks we have today, or we might have some regrets about the past. But to be successful in meditation, we don't think of the future and we don't think of the past. We try to focus in that living present, the now, where it is said, be still. This is from the Bible. Be still and know that I am God. We are micro-gods. We are actually divine beings having a human experience. So with our attention focused inside, into the inner inner gaze, the inner vista in front of us. Now, what do you see? You probably see in the beginning a dark veil, like a screen in a theater. It's dark before the lights come on. At first, they have to start up the projector. It's got to get warmed up. And then they start projecting, a bright light through a celluloid film, right? Or a digital film today. And it's projected onto a screen. So in a way, God is sitting back there. He's the projector, right? And he's focusing, you're focusing your attention into the middle, onto the screen that's in front of you. But in meditation, it's an inner screen. And the projector is the third eye, that aperture that lies hidden within us. So as we focus our attention into the middle, our mind will start secreting thoughts, generating thoughts, which distract us. So what the mystics in all the great spiritual traditions have advised or directed their students, their devotees, their practitioners, is to repeat some divine name. Any name that you can repeat, any name of the divine that you aspire to. It might be of some saint, it might be of God, it might be of love or peace, but we need to have some word or name that we can use to substitute it for all the worldly thoughts that we're having. The thoughts of the past, the fears of the future, the anxiety that we have in front of us. But we are now in this living present. We have no obligations now for the next 10 minutes, where we're going to sit in silence. We have nowhere to go but within. Forget about everything. Forget about your appointments. I'll let you know when the meditation is over soon. And this is just a taste, which you can develop further anytime you like through meditation. And there are lots of books which I can recommend if people are interested. Know more about the practice of meditation, what its purpose is, what it yields. So here you are, you're looking within and you're repeating some name of God or some name of the divine that you hold sacred. Repeat it very slowly, not out loud. Repeat it with the tongue of thought. And continue looking into the middle of whatever you see in front of you. And after some time, as you focus onto that screen, it will become brighter. You may see beautiful colors, blue and purple. You may see higher lights like a golden light or white light. You might see little pinpoints of light like stars. You might see the light coming and going. Doesn't matter. Just continue looking into the middle. After some time, it will become stable. And it will yield great results, enriching your entire life, your entire being. Thank you for joining us today. This is a check-in. Just if anybody would care to report any experience, if you had an experience of light, does anybody would like to share what you experienced in meditation today? Don't feel obligated, but if you'd like to share, it might inspire somebody else if you have had an experience of uh, the light inside, seeing some form of it in meditation.
Hi, Arran. I'll
Hi.
share.
Thank you, Grace.
Oftentimes when I meditate, I see greens and I see corals.
Greens and corals, yes.
Yeah. Do colors mean anything?
Yes, they do. They're usually associated with the chakras.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So green is a healing color. It's the color of nature, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a healing color. If you can go deeper and deeper through it, if you can penetrate through that, you'll see a higher form of light in the form of brightness and luminosity that can become as bright as the sun, but it will not burn you like the sun. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you, Grace. Thank you for sharing. People who've described their near-death experiences, who died on the operating table and came back, where their heart stopped beating for some time, and they described going through a tunnel and seeing a light that's brighter than the sun, but it was cooling and it was uplifting. And when they came back to the body, they were kind of changed. So meditation can be the same kind of transformative experience. Anybody else like to share something? There are many stages of light. There are many stages on the inner journey. Neha.
Hi, Aaron. I just had a question, and this is just in general to better understand, because I feel that when I meditate, I get the sense of calm and peace. However, I don't see anything visually. So, is there something I should be doing differently? Is it a chakra that might be blocked? Is there something that could help deepen that meditation?
No, it's a good question. Even if you don't see anything in meditation, but you have a sensation of peace and calm, that's a positive step. But to experience the light is something that you need. There's a barrier there. You have a bit of a block there, but you can get through it, and you will get through it if you persist. So I would just recommend, meditating a little bit more. Try to do say at least 15 minutes every morning before you, maybe 10 minutes or so before you go to bed. And they say prayer succeeds where all human efforts fail. So you can pray to that higher power, the creative power that's within you and around you, to help open your inner path, so that you can know really where you're going.
Right.
Because if you're still not experiencing the light, that great opportunity is still before you. And I wouldn't get too distressed about it. Just enjoy the peace that you have in meditation. But I would do an inner implore to the divine to help you progress a little bit further, so you can start experiencing those beautiful colors and lights that are on the inside.
Thank you. And sorry, just two more questions.
Sure.
Could that mean there's a chakra that's also blocked that requires like cleansing?
Well, it's your third eye.
Third eye. Okay.
That's the Ajna chakra.
Yeah.
There's the Buddha. There's many different chakras within. There's the Hride, and then there's the Kant, and then there's the Ajna chakra. So it's the Ajna chakra that needs to be opened. And sometimes for that process, we need to find a teacher who can help us open that inner eye.
That's very helpful. Thank you. And just one last question.
Sure.
I often use this app called Headspace for meditation, and it's guided meditation. So when I first started, I didn't know how to navigate my way around it. And it helps you constantly focus on your breath and disassociate with any thoughts or feelings as they come and go. So your mind can start to practice sitting blank. If we're just doing the guided meditation, is it somewhat limiting the depth of your meditation?
It's, any meditation is a positive step, but I would say you need to go further. If you want to, send me a text or you can email me, I'll be happy to give you something to read that would be helpful for you, and maybe a video that would be also very helpful for you.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Very welcome. I'm not getting anything out of this other than the pleasure of helping.
And we really appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I think that wraps it up. Have a great afternoon. Have a great week ahead. And I wish you all the best. And thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.